Hello, fellow scholars and purveyors of morbid curiosities alike. I'm Dr. Caleb, joined by the dark soul, Dr. Zach, and this is SCPod. Zach, how are you today?
Caleb, I don't know how many times I've had this conversation with you, and I don't know when it will stop, but I am stuck in a time loop right now. I have watched you die so many times when the loop closes, and I restart again. Do you know what it's like, Caleb? Watching someone die when you work with them over and over again? I know what that's like.
I assume when it comes to yours and I's relationship, it's got to spark a little bit of joy. Maybe the first couple times.
The first couple of times, maybe, but now I just look upon you and I see the inevitable dread.
I'm doing pretty all right, Zach.
I'm glad. Happy birthday.
The humans, they have this this phrase. I think it's the life that they're living is too short or something like that. So reward yourself. And you know what? I did some stuff today. I did some fun stuff and some betterment of my my physical form here.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the gym.
Nice.
And I'm rewarding myself. I picked myself up a donut. And as soon as we're done recording here, I will be eating said donut. And I'm very excited about that.
What kind of donut is it?
My grocery store out here, Kroger is a brand that is all over the place. We have King Soopers out here. You have Fred Meyer. Kroger, the King Soopers out here, they have like maple bars and all that, and I love myself a good maple bar. Our colloquial friend Austin has really turned me on to maple bars in recent years, and I got one from this place, and it had chocolate cream filling, and it really scared me the first time that happened, and now I kind of go back for more.
It's actually kind of interesting because like I will buy a chocolate bar and a maple bar together, but the idea of just like combining the two in some way.
Yeah. Or even like a marble bar where it's it's like a maple bar with like a strip of chocolate down the middle.
Yeah.
But like when I bit into the maple bar and I was not expecting like any kind of cream filling, let alone chocolate filling, I threw that donut away.
There are a lot of situations where an unexpected cream filling can cause a lot of panic.
Yeah. On a similar note, not to cream pies, but to donuts. While I was there today, I saw that they had maple bacon, God donuts,
damn it.
and I just wanted to like fight God at that moment.
Do you remember
for the audience? We will get into the episode, I swear. Go ahead.
Do you fucking remember when everything was bacon? Everything.
Yes.
What a dark time that was.
Late 2010s. Yeah.
Like, it was, like, definitely throughout the 2010s, and it was, like, everything was, like, epic bacon or whatever, and it was just like, dude, like, bacon's fine. It's not that fucking good, though.
I love going to, like, a diner, or even, like, a fucking Denny's or something, and getting, like, bacon and, like, eggs and stuff like that. But, like, even in my day-to-day life, I'm like, I could go without. I cook ham in the morning instead of like bacon. Not for any kind of health reason. They give me the same amount of protein and the macros that I want and everything. I just kind of like ham more right now, I feel like.
No, I hear it.
But
but yeah, like I share your impetus to want violence every time I see like a bacon maple bar.
Well, my reasoning is because Voodoo Donut is a thing out here.
Oh God!
And there are more voodoo donuts out here than there are in fucking Portland.
Yeah, I just want to state it clear as like
people, and it just like freaks me out.
as a unfortunate son of Portland, Oregon. I honestly don't like voodoo donuts that much. I think they are grossly overrated, and I believe, if I recall right, that they have some weird, unfair labor practices. Yeah, not a fan, and every time I see someone walking around with a goddamn pink box, it just tells me, oh, you're not from here. Gotcha.
You know what? I respect it. No, I didn't know about the labor stuff. I'm not going to even remotely defend that. The only thing, because I have seen that a lot of Portlanders like to denounce voodoo donuts, and maybe it is because of the labor practices and whatnot. But
we never.
It's cool enough. It's cool that people like it, it's like coming into Portland and getting like Moe's clam chowder or something like,
which is also a little overrated, but
perfectly all right, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, hey, it's like seeing like we didn't have like a fucking Empire State Building in Portland or anything like that. So gives the tourists something to put some money into the economy,
I don't know. It's just like it just tells me like you don't know how to appreciate a good donut. Or like
that's fair. That's fair.
Like
I've had quite a few voodoo donuts in my day.
It's like for me, it's like it's also there's this thing here where it's like we abhor a sellout or when a small business or local business just kind of like goes all in on whatever they're doing, and it's like because we had the same response to like Stumptown that did that years ago, and now like. No one I care about goes to Stumptown or drinks their coffee.
Right.
So.
I worked out of Stumptown.
Yeah, but you're also from like Kansas.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, hey, we run an SCP based podcast, not a donut based podcast, and. And time loops aside, Zach, how about we fucking get into the article?
I will do this again for you, Caleb. How many times do I need to read this goddamn article? Okay.
At least once more.
At least once more. There's going to be another one. Okay. All right. SCP-3199. Humanity Refuted. Object Class? Keter. Special Containment Procedures. All live instances of SCP-3199 are to be contained on Site-114 within a modified Keter humanoid containment chamber, hereby referred to as primary containment. The walls of which are to be coated in approximately 2 centimeters of thick acid-resistant steel. CCTV equipment is installed on the northeastern and southwestern corners. 2 meters of empty space are to be allocated between primary and secondary containment. Secondary containment consists of suspending all live instances of SCP-3199 within a block of solid, transparent substance, currently clear acrylic resin. The block is to be at a height of at least 3 meters. 1 armed security guard is to be stationed outside primary containment at all times. An 8-digit passcode can be obtained from the current Site-114 director in order to bypass primary containment. Secondary containment is to be regularly examined for damages. Movement and activity of any kind are to be noted, and the current Site-114 director is to be informed of the earliest possible convenience. A temporary recall procedure is detailed in Addendum 3199-03. Experiments involving the use of live SCP-3199 instances are strictly prohibited without approval from at least 2 personnel of Level 4 security clearance or above. As of February 18th, 2019, there are 6 live instances of SCP-3199 successfully contained.
Description: SCP-3199 denotes a species of sapient Category 5 biological entities of currently indeterminable origin, though tissue samples indicate the presence of silky chicken, chimpanzee, stoat, mussel, adder, and human DNA. They are typically hairless, stained with a thin layer of albumin-like excretion, and stand at an average of 2.9 meters. Its weight averages 780 kilograms for a matured instance, and 360 kilograms for a hatchling. Autopsy has determined that the cervical vertebrae of a mature SCP-3199 instance are composed of cartilage rather than bone. This enables the neck and throat to twist and dislocate to around 340 degrees in either direction, aiding their unusual reproductive cycle. SCP-3199 are opportunistic hunters, engaging with live subjects, within a radius of 0.6 kilometers surrounding hatchlings that have not yet fully reached adolescence. Average speed is recorded at 25 kilometers per hour. Upon contact with human or animal subjects, SCP-3199 will proceed to
data expunged,
liquefying internal organs and bone structure. A suitable cadaver is then transferred within range of the closest hatchling. SCP-3199 produces large eggs of an off-white coloration and rubbery appearance. An egg will pass through the entity's digestive tract, esophagus, and eventually out via the mouth, followed by a viscous red substance. First thought to be a form of placenta, chemical breakdown has determined it to be a highly corrosive material. SCP-3199 shows extreme distress throughout the process, with personnel describing the sound as not dissimilar to a scream. SCP-3199 produces its eggs to fill unoccupied space. There is no known limit to the number of eggs SCP-3199 is capable of producing, and the standing theory is as follows. Given enough time, a single instance could single-handedly perform an LK class species transmutation scenario. The termination of a live instance can be achieved through a variety of equally effective methods. SCP-3199 has proven to be around as resilient as a standard human subject. However, complete eradication has proven difficult, as all instances of SCP-3199, regardless of age, carry one egg within a specialized stomach-like organ upon birth, assuring that one living instance will persist through even ordinary means of constant and lethal assault. This biological phenomenon is presumed to be, in itself, anomalous in origin. A single SCP-3199 egg can bear a tremendous amount of resilience, maintaining its form and purpose even following continual subjection to extreme blunt force trauma, pressure exceeding 180,000 psi,
Damn.
high-precision blades of serrated and non-serrated variety, and long-term acid exposure. The application of plastic explosives was considered, but quickly rejected by higher administration. Heat is a primary component in the growth and development of SCP-3199's eggs. See Addendum 3199-4. And Foundation researcher Pew Bethel was particularly apprehensive towards the idea, believing it would almost certainly result in a second containment breach. SCP-3199 was issued Keter classification on October 6, 2017, following a containment breach. SCP-3199's prior containment method, a sedated water bath, was disassembled and replaced with a revised containment procedure as listed above.
Addendum 3199-A-01. In 2017, the O5 Council dispatched the following notice. Quote, all further experiments involving 3199's eggs are strictly prohibited. Hatching periods have proven too unreliable to warrant extensive research, and as the consequences of a containment breach have become more and more apparent, the O5 Council has unanimously decided to nip the situation at the bud. Until new and reliable information comes to light, all personnel found acting against protocol will be subject to new standard zero-tolerance risk assessment training and a punishment determined on a case-by-case basis. We thank you for your continued cooperation. End quote. SCP-3199 was discovered in Ireland following witness reports of a, quote, bald creature crying like a banshee from within an undisclosed area of woodland. These reports resulted in the dispatchment of Mobile Task Force Omega-19, who arrived on site with a total of 12 armed personnel. 2 personnel were lost in action, their internal organs and jaws having been almost entirely dissolved. During transportation, 3199 produced 2 offspring, resulting in the deaths of further 6 personnel.
Addendum 3199-A-02. In 2017, A thorough sweep of SCP-3199's initial recovery location was enacted in an attempt to uncover the creature's origin and purpose. Local reports suggested that the small remote residence in question had been abandoned for at least 2 decades. Surface Team Delta 29E recovered several items of interest, including 1 bag of assorted thread needles in various colors and sizes, approximately 13 chicken carcasses based on the collective halves and quarters, with precise incisions located on the underbelly, neck, and thigh. 6 of the carcasses had been plucked with visible human teeth marks lining the bare areas at random intervals. Several containers, including water bottles and Tupperware boxes, holding an unidentified watery paste. The paste was deep brown in color, and in the presence of oxygen, it turned viscous and hard. An A5 notebook, and heavily scratched with what had been determined to be human fingernails. The words "New Breed Manifesto" was written on the front cover. 2 chicken feather quills. The notebook itself consisted of 24 pages of standard lined paper, written in non-anonymous black ink. 19 of these pages consisted of various cuboid patterns and crude, childlike illustrations vaguely resembling SCP-3199. On the remaining 5 pages, large lines of writing detail the diary of an unnamed individual. Much of the written script was illegible. One extract in particular, dated in 1973, was written with notably high clarity. The following is a transcript of that. If you're reading this, then lucky you. 400,000th hour from not, and it'll be warm and wet and warm, and the wonderful versatility of inferior human DNA will birth a better era, a stronger year, one where illegible, and food and water will be nothing but things of the past, as we make and make and make more until illegible. I really haven't much Sorry, that says time. That's why I envy you so much. You'll have all the time you need. Time will be on, and death will be life. New life needs things to live. New life will be part of life from now on. End of the transcript. The final page consisted of various ink blots. 13 instances of the word life in inconsistent sizes. 2 instances of the words want it, want I want it, and the lyrics to English songwriter Frederick Weatherly's Danny Boy in Old Gaelic script. The identity of the journal's author is pending investigation.
Addendum 3199-03, Protocol 34-22-B. The following procedure is to occur in the event of Site-114 containment breach, in an effort to safely and immediately recontain live SCP-3199 instances. On-site personnel with Level 1 security clearance or above assume standard lockdown procedure and evacuate to Site-113 to await further instruction. Site-114 is to be flooded in its entirety by a clean distilled water treated with dissolved Class A sedatives. Service Team Tango 306A will be dispatched immediately to retrieve any lingering instances of 3199's eggs. Any living substances of SCP-3199 will be terminated on site, and their remaining eggs will be collected. All egg samples are to be transported to temporary off-site containment within a stable, clear water bath. Site-114 will be subsequently drained, and a custodian staff will be dispatched to thoroughly clean and sanitize the grounds to a, quote, Green Zone Foundation standard, end quote. Personnel attempting to breach Site-114 before this inspection is complete will be apprehended and punished accordingly. A note from Dr. Lewis says, a number of personnel have expressed their skepticism regarding the scale of SCP-3199's containment breach protocol. To clarify, we have a reason to believe that fluid is an excellent counter to 3199's anomalous reproductive properties. It appears to enter an inert state in the presence of liquid, regardless of thickness or clarity. The leading theory is as follows. SCP-3199 discerns the liquid around it to be, quote, occupied space. Regardless, I believe I speak for all of Site-114 when I say that we're quite relieved to have found a safe and consistent method of containment. Dr. Lewis.
We have an interview log here, 3199-I-01. And, Zach, I hear that we have a good announcement. We found the tape deck recorder.
Correction. We found someone else's tape deck recorder, and they're not getting it back.
We're a bunch of kleptos here on SCPod.
It's not their...
Play the log!
It's not their tape deck. It's our tape deck.
Date 10/28/2017. Subject Corporal Duncan. Interviewer Dr. Ewing. Forward. Subject had undergone extensive psychiatric therapy prior to interview, and while the Foundation does not consider themselves responsible for the death of Private McLeod and Private Langley, subject expressed feelings of guilt for having neglected standard Foundation health and safety protocol. Begin log.
Take a seat, right?
Please, if you would. Could you explain your mission briefing?
The job was pretty simple. No auditory or visual triggers that the higher-ups in Site-114 knew about. Seems to me as if they'd done a pretty top job scraping the area clean. Never is that easy though, huh, ma'am? We landed about 2100 hours. The boys and I had been told that if we couldn't catch the thing, the next best thing would be to snap a frame or two, so they hooked us up with the best in night vision hardware. I know you have pictures, Ella. I know you have something.
You're under no obligation to view the recording.
No, I know that. Just shook me a little.
Please, go on.
We found something within the hour, almost like a shack, totally out of scrap metal and wood. Looked more like an oversized chicken coop than anything else, but I don't know that your monster built it. Just made a home.
And I assume
Entered ASAP? Of course. It was a late shift. We wanted this over as quickly as possible. I'd like to say that's why I did what I did, but I can't bring myself to make excuses. I really, really fucked it, ma'am. Pardon my French.
No, it's perfectly appropriate, all things considered. However, I'm going to have to ask you to continue explaining the procedure.
Right. Well, I had two of my men stationed in the back, Private McLeod and Private Langley, insisted that they take first charge. Fresh out of training they were. Kids, I should be used to it by now, but never seen a smile get down so quick. I know we were there it knew we were there somehow. Jumped right at Private McLeod and...
Data expunged.
The fucking teeth out of his head. I see it whenever I blink, ma'am. That's the shit that stays with you.
The Foundation will take every measure in providing financial compensation to the families of your lost men. Could you elaborate upon the other casualty? Duncan? Please, I must urge you to continue. The more we know, the more we can stop it from happening again.
We barely had the time to react before it started moving down the corridor to the right. I guess the adrenaline had just about hit me because I fired off enough rounds to blow a chunk out of its chest. Just as its ugly head was about to round a corner, I saw right straight fucking moonlight on the other side. Bullseye. Thing let out the most awful scream. I have a beautiful little baby boy at home, Doc. Do you know that?
Irrelevant discussion of domestic life isn't necessary for this procedure, Corporal. Could you please...
I have a beautiful baby boy who just loves wailing when he's too cranky to sleep. And you know what? Every time he does, I think about that scream. I see it in my head. Think what it did. And his paw gives him a look as if he's gonna bash his fucking head against the wall. They were good men. Please, Ella, kill that monster. If for no one else, for me.
End log. Jeez. Okay.
Damn.
That's
Oof.
Addendum 3199-04. Experiment logs. Experiment 3199-E-01. Labeled Heat Exposure. Done in 2017. Subject: 1 egg sample from SCP-3199. Method: Subject relocated to a secure containment cell. Inside temperature of the cell was gradually increased at an average rate of 7 degrees Celsius per minute. Results: After approximately 9 minutes, the egg ruptured violently and produced a single hatchling. On-site personnel reacted swiftly to recontain the newborn instance. However, the excessive internal temperature appears to have impacted the physical maturity of the hatchling, and it reached adolescence at an accelerated rate of 40 seconds.
Oh.
The now adolescent hatchling produced 2 further instances of SCP-3199. Security response on-site was swift, and all 3 instances were detained cleanly. All subsequent heat experiments involving SCP-3199's eggs have been postponed until further notice.
Experiment 3199-E-2. Cold exposure. Subject: 1 egg from SCP-3199. Method: Subject submerged entirely in liquid nitrogen. Security remain on standby throughout the procedure in light of our previous experiments. After approximately 45 minutes of exposure, 3199 had reached negative 190 degrees Celsius. Following 2 hours of exposure, the egg was removed and placed under a hydraulic press. Result: the hydraulic press peaked at around pressures of 9,000 psi. Cracks appeared approximately 30 minutes into exposure before the sample shattered. Egg fragments were collected and furthermore pressed into a fine pulp. 0 traces of albumin or yolk were located. The complete incineration of the shells remains proved successful in destroying the egg and its reproductive qualities entirely.
Experiment 3199-E-03. Chemical analysis of shell. Sample: 10 grams of finely pressed eggshell pulp, taken from an SCP-3199 egg. Results: Detailed chemical breakdown shows traces of nacre, enamel, and a currently unidentified carbon compound. Microscope analysis suggests that the shell itself is comprised of tightly packed crystalline structure. Practical application of this material is pending administrative approval.
God damn.
Okay. That is an article.
That is a long... We haven't read something that long since the Sarkic season, I think.
That 100%, 100%.
So,
the old man had a chance to be that, but we cut down the stories before they could ever reproduce.
Yeah, we filled that chamber with water.
Exactly.
So, Caleb, you've never read this article before.
Maybe in one of the other timelines I did, but yeah, this is I don't get it.
You don't.
I'm gonna be straight up with you. I don't get it.
Okay, where were we losing you?
This just seems like a cake situation, and that seems to be the threat here. Is that these creatures are producing a bunch of eggs, and the eggs hatch and reach adolescence, where they just create more and more, and we just have a cake situation.
So I would say you're about a third of the way correct in assessing the danger, and that is absolutely a threat with 3199. The other thing, though, is that unlike the cakes, is that imagine if the cakes were xenomorph-style predators that could run at large speeds, or twice your body weight, and wanted to eat you or dissolve you with acid that they can spit up.
Okay.
That's part of the...
So they're hunters as well.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's not that they will reproduce, it's that there will be... It's like a Zerg situation. Right, from StarCraft, right. Where it's like, it's not that there is one of them. That would be bad enough, because it's still twice your body weight and can spit acid. And it just wants to kill you.
Right.
It's that it can make 1,000 of themselves very quickly. and each one of them will produce more of them. So it's not a case of like burning their nests. Is that as long as there's any sort of one of them out there, it's just a time bomb waiting to happen.
Right. Going back to the xenomorph thing, like only the queen xenomorph can make more children, but this is like a hive of xenomorphs that they can also all make more of them.
Yes, that's part of the problem. That, and as you can see from the containment procedures and the addendums, keeping them locked up isn't necessarily straightforward.
Right. Hence the Keter classification.
Yeah, and also just like the actual effort it takes to destroy the eggs makes it not necessarily impractical because you want to destroy these things, but the actual effort and time it takes to destroy one is also not straightforward.
Mm-hmm. So let me get this straight, because this is a dense article. I'm gonna play the stupid card here.
Nope, no worries.
PhD in spooky stuff, not PhD in parsing this. So the containment procedures is, they are held within a chamber, and it is coated with acid-resistant steel, blah blah blah, and then inside of that they're submerged in some sort of solid transparent substance.
Yes. Currently,
or are they two separate containment things?
So there's an inner shell and outer shell, right? So the inside of the primary containment is made of acid resistant steel, about 2 centimeters or about an inch. So just an inch of acid resistant steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the outside of that, you have an armed guard. And then on the outside of that, because there's a void between the inner containment and then the outer containment. The outer containment is made up of that area suspended in a block of clear resin, so like acrylic, like kind of like plexiglass.
Yeah.
And then the block is to be held at about 3 meters or about 10 feet. Off 10 feet up, and then there's going to be a guard outside, and then all the access procedures get to stop people from getting into it, as well as the things getting out. And so it's a layered, constantly manned security detail.
Fair. Okay.
And then if there is a containment breach, we just flood the entire zone with literal flood. So we are prepared to just
leave some faucets on.
Right, we are. The Foundation is prepared to just wreck their own site to make sure this thing doesn't get out, or these things don't get out.
Yeah, which I mean, it makes sense. Like, this is definitely a cake situation, but a lot.
It's a cake plus.
A lot scarier.
It's a cake plus.
Yes. This has got to be a more recent phenomenon, right? Because I feel like if this was like out there in the wild for 100 years or something like that, like, humanity would be extinct.
Well, we've had it documented for a while. It looks like, looking through revision, that we first described the situation in 2017, so about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that this thing wasn't running around before, because we had that addendum that was from 1973 that's connected to the articles.
Yeah, that's true.
So we know that this has probably been a thing for at least 52 years now.
Crazy.
And then we don't know what's going on before then. And then we also have, when we did the DNA when we sequenced the DNA, it was from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different species, and so that would require a certain level of genetics or black magic, as the situation may be. Yeah,
right.
it's
so
Jesus Christ.
Let me ask you, Zach.
Yeah, one more final point is that, like, I'm just looking back over the description, is that, like, these things are damn near 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Each.
Yeah, and running at 25 kilometers an hour, which
about like
in freedom units is, roughly fast.
it's like 12 or 15 miles an hour.
How many washing machines is that?
It is approximately 22 pepperonis per Mamma Mia.
So let me ask you, Zach, what do you take away from Addendum 3199-A-02, where we found the notebook?
To me, it almost sounds like a weird combination of like weird at-home DIY science or, weirdly like a ritual gone wrong.
Okay.
Because like you have the assorted like materials for stitching and attachment. You have the the remains of all the fucking chickens. And if you look at the picture that's associated with the article, there is a certain avian quality to,
chicken-like.
to that form.
God, I absolutely hate that you pointed that out to me. Fuck you, Zach.
What was it about, like, the way we determined that you don't like birds? Like, a plucked bird does something for you. Kind of reminds me about Time's Up again. Something in the Time's Up.
Yeah.
And so... But then, like, you have the description of the notebook and what we can get out of it, and it sounds like the ramblings of a crazy person. So yeah. I mean, like, just based off the information we have, and I want to say that this article is pretty thorough and does give us a good account of the information we do have available. This sounds like the ritual of an insane person who... I don't know what he was going for, but it looks like he was very misanthropic about how he felt about other people and was obsessed with making something that would just live.
Would you say it was an unfinished ritual?
I think he finished. I think he crossed the finish line.
That's fair.
Unlike that certain town in New England, this guy did whatever he was set up to do. We just don't understand what he was trying to do.
No. We're doing a horror themed season, Zach. You can invoke the name of the place. It was Massachusetts. Ah!
What's that? You cut out there. I didn't hear that. No, seriously, what'd you say? You did cut out.
Oh, I did cut out. I said, Zach, we're doing a horror themed season here. You can invoke the name of the place. It's called Massachusetts. Ah!
You just cut out again there. I don't know what you're saying. You got Morbius.
Not just that, but we're in the same fucking room!
And you still fell for it.
Oh god, I hate it here.
Also, I just want to say that the actual title of the notebook we found for Addendum A02 is called New Breed Manifesto, which sounds like something you would find at like a Taboo video store. Or
like an incel's basement.
Or, yeah, like something you would find on Telegram somewhere.
It is Redditor Final Boss.
It is Redditor Final Boss. Jesus Christ. But no, like, it's one of those things where, like, when you're trying to find meaning in the writings of someone who is actually unwell, you're going to have a hard time because they're working in a very different headspace than you would be when, writing something down.
Right.
But my my working assumption is that this is some sort of ritual that has gone wrong. But I do believe that whoever wrote that New Breed Manifesto in Addendum 02 was the person responsible for these things.
I think that's a logical conclusion. However anomalous means they made to do it, because you're right. It was like 6 different animals being put together to make these things. It's just like it's hard to parse out what the end goal was.
Yeah, like if the goal was to create a monster, congratulations. But the question is then, why did you make the monster?
Right.
But I mean, it's clearly effective at whatever it's doing. Like, if the goal is to make a creature that just perpetuates and quote unquote lives and lives and lives, good job.
Yeah, it does say the versatility of inferior human DNA will birth a better area. So I'm wondering if it's like one of those like humanity is not the as perfect as the person wants it to be. And so,
well, I mean, the name of the
have we?
The name of the
Does it say
the name of the file is Humanity Refuted.
Go ahead. Yeah. But that's what we put on it. Does it say what it does with the with what it hunts? It says upon contact will proceed to liquefying internal organs and bone structure, and then it's transferred to a range to the closest hatchling. So can I kind of take from that these things don't need to consume, except to like when they're a youngin'?
Yeah, like normally I would assume that if they're hunting, they would be consuming what they're hunting. But in other articles where we're talking about monsters that are predators, it usually just out and out states that they are eaten. And for whatever reason,
Right.
This sounds like this is a case where they may not be doing it for sustenance. They might just be doing it because they're vicious little bastards.
For the love of the game.
For the love of the game. Like, I think even in Time's Up, that monster said, like, that description says that the monster just straight up eats them.
Yeah. Well, it does say that this suitable cadaver is then transferred within range of the closest hatchling. So I'm almost reading that as though, like, the hatchling must consume in order to grow.
Maybe.
But, or maybe to accelerate its growth. Or maybe, well, you know what? It does say that warm and wet is kind of how they grow, as seen in the experiment. So maybe the hatchling just has to, like, pop into a fucking Luke Skywalker. It just pop into a dead carcass.
Yeah, he gets tauntauned.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to assume that these things don't need to consume in order to live, which, you know, maybe is kind of the goal of, like, you know, he does say one where food and water will be nothing but things of the past, you know?
That is true. That is true. It's so weird because, like, there are some things, like, you can feel like you would assume from the word hunting behavior or predator, but then, like, you actually read it and you're like, if that's what they were doing, they would just say it.
Well, okay, but, like, think about what is it, the tarantula hawk, the fucking the wasp that, like, goes and just kills a tarantula, implants its babies in it, and then the babies, like, consume the corpse around it. Like, he's hunting for the love of the game, but also, like, doing it to provide for his future generation. He's not eating the tarantula, but the babies are. So it could be something like that, and that I would consider that hunting as well.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I have questions because, like, one of my big questions is, like, what exactly is the life cycle of these things? Because typically, when you have a species or an animal that has a rapid or, like, a really rapid ability to repopulate itself, usually they are the most long-lived of species.
Right.
How long can one of these live on its own before succumbing to quote-unquote natural causes? I don't know if we know that.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, no, that's weird. And I'm also like, in the heat experiment, they said that it grew up at an accelerated rate of 40 seconds. Mm-hmm. I'm just imagining, you're like playing Minecraft, and then like a baby sheep grows up into a big sheep, and it's just like immediately just like becomes big. That's what I'm kind of imagining with these guys. They're like little hairless chickens. And then, like, a fucking rotisserie chicken from Costco. And it's, like, sitting there. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, boom!
Like, oh, God. Yeah, and so...
That's the real horror. It broke the chair it was sitting on.
Yeah, right? Fuck, it cost me $25. And it's... Yeah, the horror for humanity refuted is not necessarily its rapid reproduction cycle. It's not on its own. It's that it turns into a 10-foot monster that spits acid and is extremely aggressive.
Yeah. No, once you explained that, I was like, wait a second. That is plenty spooky. And the fact that it looks like it does.
Yeah, and so like that's why we have it listed as a as this thing could cause a K-class situation.
Yeah.
Like
also, the fact that it sounds like a screaming child while it's giving birth.
Mm. Yeah, there's a couple of predatory SCPs that use voice mimicry. There's another one that was early series that we want to cover at some point, probably.
Yeah. How do you feel about that in horror? How do you feel about voice mimicry?
I think it's extremely effective and would work on a lot more people than they want to admit.
One of my favorite like horror monsters is the bear from Annihilation.
Yeah.
And that thing has stuck with me for so long because of just how terrifying, like not even like voice mimicry done well, but just how terrifying it is to do something. There's a fucking League of Legends character, Fiddlesticks, that does the same thing, and it doesn't have a voice box, and so it just sounds like somebody wheezing through somebody's lines. But hearing something that is like programmed to kill you say like, "It's coming after me, please help," is so discerning.
It is a really, like, as someone who writes horror, I think it's a nice touch. And the reason it's a nice touch is that we would all fall for it if we didn't think about it for longer than 2 seconds, or if like you had your wits about you. We would all instantly fall for it. Or like if you didn't know something was wrong, like it would be very effective.
Well, you and I in the pre-show, we were talking about Full Metal Alchemist, and there's a shapeshifter in that show, and that's another thing is like, I feel like people are very quick to say like, oh, I would know if my best friend or my father or my sister or whoever was not who they are. I don't think a lot of people would.
Oh no, God no.
Like I think not everybody is ready with a test right off the, like, where were we October 14th of 2014? What were we doing? I don't think everybody's ready to do something like that.
Right, and like one of the reasons why I feel confident agreeing with that is the fact that like a lot of people are genuine dog shit at discerning like AI content.
True. I'm people.
and so like, cause given how much that's been a problem, like I am fully confident when I say that like if there was a predator about that could accurately mimic voices of people, we would all fall for it.
Yeah.
Like if you don't think you would, it's like I don't know how to tell you, but you are not immune to propaganda.
True. We're very lucky that Impressionists just choose to do like Peter Griffin.
Yeah,
and not like my father.
Right. We're very grateful that Impressionists are ambush predators and not pursuit predators. So, and don't even get me started on mimes.
Don't get them started on
Don't
mimes.
get me started on mimes.
That's what 90% of the pre-show was.
Yeah, I really think we should really, and Caleb, just redact the next part out for like 10 seconds. I think that's what we should do about mimes, Caleb.
Well, Zach, this is one of the rare SCPs that I actually don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's been cleared up. This the problem with, I didn't know very much about the old man going into it. I didn't know anything about this one going into it. But now that I've kind of been able to parse the information through the help of my lovely co-host, there's not much extra here. I want to draw the parallel between this and Blood of the Dragon, or Blood Brother as Zach likes to call it, of like a creature that was seemingly created for God knows what reason, and we just find the research notes afterwards. Like that's a pretty big parallel.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
No, you ain't wrong. Like, it's one of those cases where this is at least for the way I tend to look at these articles, this is a very well-written article with a lot of very good detail.
Yeah.
And sometimes that lends to a lot of prolonged discussion, and sometimes it doesn't. But I think what we have here is just a really dangerous situation where we have a good enough idea of the dangers to know how to keep it contained well enough, and to know why we really want to keep it contained.
Right. Yeah, it is interesting. I kind of want to explore more ketters, kind of like the cakes, that aren't dangerous on the surface, but more cause like an existential dread. Because I feel like most of the ketters that we've covered, with like the exception of the cakes and the pizza of mass destruction, are like just monsters.
Yeah, so like there's simply like I have thought about bringing something to the show like You Don't Recognize the Bodies in the Water, but that would be a long episode.
Oh, that would be a good one.
That would be a long episode.
Yeah, that would be a good one. That's a popular one.
Yeah, so I think there's something there to be to talk about. I think that I don't know if that talks about or something similar to like Syncope Symphony, which is also one I want to talk about at some point. But that would be that'll be a clear afternoon recording session.
Yeah, that's a grab lunch. We'll take a lunch break.
Yeah. But no, like I think I'm okay with leaving this where it is now. Like we have talked about it.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty cut and dry one for all intents and purposes, minus like figuring out who the fuck made these.
Yeah.
The only question I have for you, Zach, is you had mentioned that this is one of your favorite SCPs prior to the recording, and this is kind of revisiting it years later. How does it stand up for you?
I think it stands up. Like I like that it is a straightforward monster situation with clear threats that are well described and with a lot of supporting interesting evidences in the addendums and the experiments. It tells you what it is, it tells you why it's dangerous, and it goes into good detail about how they know it's dangerous. And so it's well documented in that case, and just frankly the monster is terrifying.
Yeah, no, I actually pretty much agree with you. I think this is a really good article just from the fact of like there is so much information here, and it's not just like a story, kind of like an unfinished ritual, where like that was our longest article reading to date, but like it was telling a story. This is like, no, this is everything that we know about the creature, and like they have this little subplot of the story. But yeah, this is an interesting ass SCP.
It is, and I like it. It's whoever wrote it did a great job. It looks like the author. We'll link the author down in the show notes when we're done.
I appreciate you throwing more work my way.
It's not like we don't do it every time anyway.
True. But yeah, that's about all I got for this. Zach, what do you have anything else you want to talk about with this?
Nope.
All right. Well, yeah, that's SCP-3199, Humanity Refuted. And Zach, where can people find you?
They can find me over on my blog of Roll for Writing. That can be found at www.makeawritingcheck.blogspot.com. They can also find my published collection of short stories, which is available wherever you buy ebooks. That can be found at under the name of Tales from Port Astor.
Awesome. You can find me at Calica1738 on Twitter and Instagram. I plan on making a commute over to Blue Sky at some point, but I'm kind of a ghost on social media anyway, so I don't know. And then most notably, you can find me on YouTube at Calica, where I do all sorts of different things. Right now I'm doing a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, but I plan to make reviews on music and movies and TV shows, as well as just random tier lists and rankings and stuff like that. And you can also find me at Roll for Writing Presents on YouTube as well.
Can they? Can they, Caleb?
The best part is I have not recorded anything for Roll for Writing Presents either, so it's not even like I can be like, oh, well, I was a guest on one. No, I haven't done that.
That's a choice.
Shut up. Go back to your time loop. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at SCPod_cast. You can follow us on Instagram at SCPod.cast. Like I said earlier, we are also going to be on Blue Sky soon enough. That one I will be doing. We're available on Spotify and YouTube, with more platforms to come. Please remember to do all the shill things, like, rate, follow, comment, subscribe. Press any button on the screen, including pause or rewind or anything like that. Leave it on in the background. Get us a billboard number 1. Yeah, all those things push us into the algorithm, help you find content like us if you liked what you heard, and also push us to other people that are freaks like you who might enjoy our stuff as well. Yeah, that's about it. Hey, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you absorbing some humanity over there to get rid of your hollow. What did the thing say when you absorbed it?
Grandma Sheep believes in you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.